Welcome, audience, once more to the Healthy Living Show, your heritage talk show. Today, we want to consider the 7 pillars of health. Like you know, health is your heritage, health is your birthright, sickness is an aberration. So, we're going to consider the 7 cardinal pillars of vibrant health. Number one is your intake, your ingestion. That's what I call it. The food, the drinks, everything that goes through your mouth into your body actually is the greatest and the most important factor that affect your health, illness, wholeness, and reversal of disease, more importantly. So we're going to consider your food primarily. Everything you take in your body, people build their health, their life gradually, step by step, by what they take, by what they eat. Actually, we are told that you are what you eat. Of course, digest and assimilate. And because you are what you eat, the building blocks of vibrant health is your food and your drink, especially your water. Now, the drinks is there, but let's consider food, so to speak. I will come to drink. I'm mentioning drinks or water because 70% of our body is water. But I combine both drinks and, of course, food. Let's go to food because that's the one that we always think about first. Food is number one factor that changes everything about your health. In fact, most times, 70% of the way you look is because of what you eat, your intakes. Now, number one thing that affects your overall health and disease is not just the food you eat, but the quality of the food, the nutrients in the food, the minerals, the vitamins, the enzymes, the phytonutrients, the phytochemicals. These are the things that build the body, that create health, that creates wholeness, that create vibrant health and newness. They repair your tissues, they regenerate your tissue, they rejuvenate or make you young again. So, number one, true hunger is the body's search for nutrients. Unfortunately, a lot of us are not feeding our body the right nutrients, the right food to build strong cells, to build strong immune system, to eliminate waste, and also to actually ward off disease and degeneration. Now, a lot of people don't even think about the source of the food they eat. Not just the food, the quality. The source also matters. Because if the food is contaminated, if the food is polluted, if the food is denatured or chemicalized, if the food is not in its natural, raw, whole, unfragmented state, that food may sustain life, but it will not sustain health. It will not build vibrant body. The body will degenerate. The body will form disease. Now, I want to tell us something about food, particularly, especially raw, uncooked, unpasteurized, unchemicalized, unfragmented, undenatured food is what we talk about here and what we are interested in here, because a lot of food we eat does not help us at all, and down the road they will create disease. You know, one of the things I've come to understand is that a lot of people don't even know that the greatest problem that causes illness is the same food they've been feeding their body. Let's just break it down once more so that you can take it down. Let's consider what people call the balanced diet. What they mean by balanced diet is that it has the right combination of protein, right combination of carbohydrate, and of course fats or oil in appreciable amount. But these are not the really things that really build the body. This gives us calories, more importantly, but it don't give us the main nutrients, especially the phytonutrients, very, very important, or the life enzyme, or the minerals, or the vitamins that are vital for our cells, vital for life. And don't forget that cells build up tissues, tissues build up organs and glands, of course, build up system, and the system form the whole organism or a human species. Now, when you consider food as a pillar of health, don't let any doctor deceive you or insult your intelligence that when you have sickness or disease, that diet has nothing to do with it. Because doctors untrained in nutrition and diet will tell you, let's take for instance high blood pressure, that food has nothing to do with it. In fact, food has everything to do with it, including cancer. 95% of cancer at least is because of food and lifestyle, and they are all connected together. And when we talk about food, we want to talk about food that can actually nourish your body. One thing I have found out is that people eat for every reason except health. People eat for psychological gratification, they eat for hunger, they eat for taste, they eat for social gathering or fellowship or communion, and of course, every occasion there's always food for celebration. And also people eat for, social upbringing because of their background, because of culture, tradition, and because that's the way they've been brought up or what they've been eating ever since they were little. But the main reason that we should eat food is because we want vibrant health. We want to live well. If you are not eating well, you are not living well. If I cannot change your food, I cannot change your life. And if I cannot change your life, I cannot change your health. It starts with empowerment. It starts with being an informed consumer of food and drinks, which I call intakes. Also, if you don't really know what you are eating, I think I saw a book the other day. The book was talking about people killing themselves through their fork. The things they eat is the thing that generates disease or degeneration or deformity, or so to speak. And then when we consider food, we begin to understand that food is also energy. It's not just calories. It's not just something that makes us stop the hunger craving, so to speak, or to satisfy hunger. Food is also a product of enjoyment. You see, when you eat good food, it's part of life. It's part of enjoyment. I think the French know more about this. That's why whenever they see you eating, they will they say things like bon appetit, good nutrition or good eating. So very, very important, because if you don't change your food, you will not change anything about your life or your health. And the food we are interested in is the food that is nourishing, not just delicious, but nourishes you and promote health. And I think the Chinese also have one philosophy. The philosophy is that whatever can heal you can also prevent disease. So why not incorporate it in your daily diet? And that's how to prevent disease, because an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. When we understand that even true hunger is the body's search for nutrients. It's not just satisfying the craving for food. No. True hunger is that the body is looking for nutrients, is looking for minerals, is looking for vitamins, is looking for the enzyme to digest the food or create healing, is looking for the minerals, the electrolyte, the trace minerals especially. And it's also looking for phytonutrients. Don't let that word throw you, because phytonutrients are plant nutrients that, causes cure of disease, reverse degeneration, brings wholeness, eliminates waste, and of course, repair tissues so that, life can continue. Let's come to drinks, because drinks or water, especially, I want to zero in on water. A lot of people do not drink water, and most things we call disease is because of dehydration. 70% of our body composition is water. In children, it's over 90% in little babies or newborn babies. telling you that 70% of what we eat is supposed to be liquid diet, including water. But people don't like taking water. For water, for whatever reason, maybe water is boring, or they just don't have the taste, or the outbreak it doesn't. Let me tell you, the cure for thirst is not soda. It's not chemicalized color sugar water that we call soft drinks. The cure for dehydration or thirst is pure, clean water. And there are different kinds of water. We'll come back to talk about water in general later. But there is alkaline water, there is purified water, there is spring water, there is filtered water, there is ordinary tap water, which I discourage anybody from taking, because tap water is full of contaminants, full of chlorine, full of lead, full of microorganisms, even though they tell you it's recycled. Most of the water we use that are called tap water today have been recycled 2 or 3 times, from the general leftovers, what I call leftover, including sewage water. They pump it back to the local stream or river, and they pump it back to the homes. So very, very important. And I don't want to talk about drinks. We'll talk about that later on. We want to just give you bare bone essential. Number 2 pillar of health is your digestion. And I said assimilation, because you got to break food down to take them down. And whatever you cannot assimilate, you cannot eliminate. Digestion is very, very important, because we have what is called finite bank account of enzymes. What do I mean by that? Every one of us is born with an enzyme account or quantity of an enzyme that will last us for up to 27, 30 years of our lifetime. And if you discover, this is when people start having problems. I will tell you with myself as an example. When I was young, this is a personal story now. I boasted to my mother that I don't eat anything that is raw. I don't eat anything that doesn't go or didn't go through fire. And when I was above 30, I discovered that that was not the case anymore. Why? Because through bad eating, dietary discretion or indiscretions, because you cannot eat correctly without basic knowledge of nutrition or digestion. So I was telling my mother that, hey, I don't eat anything that is uncooked, invariably. But the gospel truth, or should I say the naked truth, is that I'm preaching gospel now about eating raw, or at least making it 50-50. A lot of people who work in Vibrant Health make it 80-20. Or sometimes people call it 70-30 rule. In other words, 70% uncooked food, including juices, smoothies, raw fruit and vegetable, and then 20% or 30% cooked food. I think I'm just a beginner. I'm doing 50-50. Well, back to digestion, and that's why I'm adding the raw food, your smoothies, your fruit and vegetable, because they are uncooked, they are unprocessed, they have life, they have electricity, they have the raw enzyme that digest food. That's where I'm heading at. They digest food and break it down. And if the body does not break the food down, it will not take it down. Most of our problem is because people will eat food and the food will just sit there. The food does not break down. It doesn't digest. And let me tell you, child of God, that the first thing that happens to anybody is that you start digesting food mechanically. Many people eat in a hurry. They don't chew their food very well. They don't masticate the food. They don't break down the food. Because if you don't go through the mechanical chewing or mechanical digestion or breakdown of the food, when it gets to the stomach and the rest of the intestine, especially the small intestine, where the food will be absorbed, the food will putrefy. It putrefies if it is carbohydrates or sugars. Sorry, yeah, if it's protein rather. And if it's protein, it ferments. But if it's carbohydrate, it putrefies. Because I think it's the other way around. But that's what I want to say about digestion. So if you really, really want to break the food down, you have to know how to chew. Chew your food not less than 50 times before you swallow. Don't eat watching TV. Don't eat in a hurry. Don't eat when you are upset or angry. Don't eat when you are, distracted. Don't eat relaxed. You know, don't eat on the road. People just eat on the go. Like grab and go. And this thing affects our digestion and overall health. Anything that improves your digestion, assimilation, and elimination will improve at least 80% of your health. Digestion is so critical because 85% of our body energy reserve is used to digest, break down food, and assimilate them. So anything that happens to your digestive system from the mouth to the anus will break down your health. So we need complete digestion, and that's why I don't eat cooked food without popping enzymes into my mouth. Because if I don't digest the food, I know not only did I waste the food, but the food will ferment, the food will putrefy, the food will just sit there, the food will create more toxins, will create leaky gut syndrome, will create upset, will create allergy, will create inflammatory reaction, and can even cause the host of all the degenerative diseases we know about. High blood pressure, diabetes, pre-diabetes, cancer, high cholesterol, sluggish liver, sluggish kidneys. These are all problems of digestion. So life and death begins in the colon, not just the small intestine. The colon is the sewage pipe of the body. A clean colon will produce a clean blood. The reason is that when the colon is clean, the food that's been absorbed through the portal vein to the liver will be clean because the liver is the filter. And when the liver is efficient, the circulation is good, the blood is clean, the kidney performs efficiently, and every other organ in the body, your heart, your brain, your spleen, all the organs will begin to function perfectly when the liver is great, when the liver is good, when the liver is vibrant, when the liver is working in top shape, because the liver is also part of your digestive system. It's part of your gastrointestinal tract, really. So both the liver, the pancreas, and the gastrointestinal system, especially the colon, are all linked together. Now, let's talk about elimination. Elimination is very, very critical to vibrant health. A lot of people are having health problems and health challenges today because they can't eliminate very well. They can't detoxify. They can't clean up waste. The body is not being purged. If elimination stutters, if elimination is backed up, or if you are backed up rather, and you are not excreting waste, the body will suffer disease. The body will suffer auto intoxication or body pollution. I ask people a lot of times, most often, when we are kids, one of the things the doctors do is to ask you how many times you eliminate. Are you regular? And I discovered that people just move the bowel, they don't care. Let me tell us, you can be regular and still be constipated. And the digestive system is just one channel of elimination. But it's so important because it's the heartbeat of other channels. Because everything that comes or goes to the organs of elimination, like the liver, the kidney, the lungs, to some extent, the pancreas, they all come from the gastrointestinal system. So if the colon is clogged, if the gastrointestinal system is backed up, every part of the body is polluted. Every part of the body becomes toxic. And this toxicity is always, or nearly always, acidic waste. And acid creates inflammation. Don't let that word throw you. Inflammation means that the body is inflamed. There's fire within. There's a lot of acid because acid corrodes. Acid burns. And when it burns, that means the body will not be in balance. And when there is imbalance, everything falls apart. The body starts breaking down. Repair mechanisms begin to wear out. Your DNA, free radicals are generated. There's oxidative stress. And before you know it, disease manifests. And of course, they manifest in terms of symptoms like headache, bad breath, indigestion, bloating, gas. These are the causes or symptoms, rather, of lack of elimination or adequate or proper elimination. So if you don't eliminate, let's look at the organs of elimination, because I just talked about the major one. The liver is part of your gastrointestinal tract. We can't emphasize the liver a lot, enough. The liver is what keeps us alive. It's the organ. That's why it's the liver, L-I-V-E-R. Without it, we cannot live. The liver produces at least 500 works, or does 500 activities, metabolic activities. It's the greatest metabolic organ in the whole body. Of course, it's the largest internal organ, apart from the skin, which is external. Whenever the liver is not working properly, the body suffers disease. In fact, cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes to some extent, heart attack, all are because primarily the liver is sluggish. The liver may not be diseased, so to speak, but once it's sluggish, it affects every other organ or gland in the body, including your thyroid gland. Let me tell us something very, very important. I used to think that, there's a drug or a health preparation or vitamin or formulation that can cure disease, that once we discover it, it's like a silver bullet or panacea, and disease will be eliminated. I've tried and all that. You know what I discovered? I discovered that if you can clean the colon and tune up your liver, you will solve more than 80% of health problems. So no drug is necessary. Sometimes people are looking for a pill. It's not a pill. It's a program. It's a protocol. And the first thing is to clean up the organs of elimination, like the liver, the colon that works with the liver, the kidneys, very important, that eliminate waste through urine, the lungs, through breathing, in and out, inspiration and expiration. Another organ of elimination that we ignore so often is the skin. Do you know that any time the liver or the kidneys are backed up, they use the skin as a secondary or backup organ for elimination? I'll give you an example. When people take a lot of peanut, they complain to me they have breakouts or pimples, or acne. Do you know the reason? The reason is that the liver do not handle peanuts well, and some of the saturated fat. If the liver is sluggish, breakouts come out of the skin. Also, the skin is called the third kidney. We have two kidneys, left and right. But when the kidney is backed up or sluggish or diseased, do you know that people started producing rash, started producing breakouts, started producing skin changes or pigmentation, psoriasis, and all that? So skin is a very powerful, in fact, the largest organ of elimination. If you combine other organs of elimination like the lungs, the gastrointestinal tract, the liver, and the kidney, do you know the skin eliminates twice as much as what these organs do combined? So skin is very, very important, and most often, whenever somebody has problem in the skin or on the skin, the problem is not the skin. The problem is usually with the liver two organs can help you fight anything. These are also the organs that help us fight high blood pressure, fight cancer, fight diabetes, fight allergies, or autoimmune diseases like scleroderma, things like, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, things like multiple sclerosis, things like, sarcoidosis. Every autoimmune disease that has been described can actually be tackled if your skin is intact, especially the organs, first of all, primarily like the liver and the kidneys that really work over time to keep us alive. So if we take care of this organ, you won't see scarring on the skin, you won't see, skin aging, you won't see skin inflammation, you won't see antioxidant or acidic waste trying to bog down the skin or the rest of the body in form of autoimmune diseases. So we still come back to elimination because it's very important because it goes with the restriction. But let's talk about circulation, which is a biggie because everything in the body is in the blood. According to the scripture, life is in the blood. So any sickness or disease can be diagnosed from the blood long before it shows in your general health, long before it shows as cancer, long before it shows as prostate disease or BPH or prostatitis or infection. Every disease or nearly every disease can be picked up in your blood. Of course, lymphatic is the sewage pipe of the body. People tend to ignore the lymphatics. But let's deal with the blood, your circulation. Your circulatory system is composed of your heart, your blood vessels, which are arteries, and your veins. It is said that if you combine the tubes and pipes, especially your cardiovascular system, the blood vessels, that they will go around the equator twice, which is 60,000 miles of arteries and veins. So your circulation is where we have so much problems. In fact, if the doctor does an autopsy on a dead body, and if he doesn't find anything, he can attribute it to circulatory failure or heart disease or heart attack or brain attack, which is an extension of heart attack, which we call stroke, or cardiomyopathy or heart failure. Because circulation is what keeps the body one, including your hormones, balancing your hormones, controlling temperature, controlling blood pressure, the vital signs. And don't forget that the vital sign consists of your blood pressure, your pulse, your temperature, and of course your pulse, blood pressure, temperature, and then the three are what we call the vital signs. So circulation coordinates all of them. Why is circulation very important? It's important because a lot of people are walking around today with blocks, what I call blocks. They are having atherosclerosis or plaques in their system. And anytime there's a block or narrowing, disease or sickness results. And it takes time for years. For instance, high blood pressure is a circulatory problem. Cold hands and cold legs, what we call Raynaud's disease. We are entering the winter. We're already in the fall. Some people complain that whenever their body is exposed to cold, that they start having pain. That pain is a suffocation cry of your blood. In other words, those tissue, those areas in your tissue are not receiving adequate supply of blood and nutrients, and they are crying. So most problem we have is circulatory problem. It doesn't matter whether it's cardiovascular, like high blood pressure. It doesn't even matter whether it's cancer. Because, you see, every cell in the body, I believe in what is called the healthy cell concept. Every cell in the body has two supply. One is blood supply. Two is the nerve supply or nerve stimulation. Any of them that has problem, the whole body suffers. The whole tissues, organs, glands, system begin to break down because they are not getting adequate food or the chemical messengers or the hormones or nutrients. If the body is not nourished, any cell that do not have adequate nourishment begin to cry, begin to degenerate, and begin to die, which we call degenerative diseases. So even erectile dysfunction is because those areas, those reproductive organs, are not getting adequate blood supply. They are not getting the nutrients. They are not getting the oxygen. They are not getting the hormones. They are not getting the phytochemicals that causes regeneration, repair, and rejuvenation. Now, let's talk about your heart. Very important. Because at the heartbeat of your circulatory system is your heart. The neuromuscular pump. I don't mean the spiritual heart. I mean the neuromuscular pump that pumps blood to the rest of your body and your circulation. Anything that happens to the heart in terms of electric conduction, in terms of adequate nutrients, if the heart is not getting enough magnesium, it will misfire. If it's not getting enough selenium, the Purkinje fiber, the circuitry system, the electrical circuit of the body begin to malfunction. So we need adequate nutrient, not just for overall health in general, but your circulation in particular. And every problem I've discovered lies in this the heartbeat of pillar of health, which is your circulation. In fact, after elimination, circulation is very, very important. Elimination and digestion. After that is circulation. Why circulation is very important is that if you don't do anything about it, people has even collapsed because of blocks. People just pass out, and people attribute it to demon. The reason is because of circulatory failure. Because once there's no circulation, there's no coordination. The body will just, give up gradually or die slowly. We'll still come back to it down the road. But let's say something about lymphatics. A lot of people talk about blood vessels, which is the artery and the veins, but nobody talks about lymphatics. Lymphatics are like the sewage pipe or sewage circulatory system of the body. That's why they are milky in color. They remove invaders. They remove bugs. They remove white blood cells that have died while they are fighting disease, and they are called pus. That's why the lymphatic looks milky, and then the body eliminates them. One of the things about lymphatics is that it doesn't have valves on its own, so you depend on movement, going up and down, exercise to move the lymphatics around. That's why if you don't have time for exercise, sooner or later you have time for sickness. And for every year you exercise, you add at least one more year to your life. So exercise is very important, not just for circulation, but also to move your lymphatic system around, because lymph, they don't have, pipes. Sorry, they don't have valves that make them unidirectional. So they are very, very important in elimination too, because they collect all these debris and all that and put it back in the general circulation where the immune system can deal with them. And whenever lymphatics are malfunctioning, or when there is an invader or bug or microorganism or bacteria or even cancer cells, the lymph nodes enlarge, because the lymph nodes are the checkpoints in lymph system. Because of that, very, very important in your disease mechanism or your health maintenance on your immunity. Very, very important. Well, that takes us to the immune system directly. The immune system is very, very important. It's the fifth pillar of health. Don't let the word immune throw you. The immunity means nothing but protection. What protects your body so that you won't even have illness or sickness in the first place. The body has in placed there by our Maker God to check the inflow or influx of disease. That's why we're alive, to keep us alive, to keep us vibrant, to keep us whole and hearty and happy, so that we won't suffer disease. Why immune system is important is that the naturopaths who follow the path of nature in healing and wholeness has said it over the years that there is one disease and one disease only, and that disease is nothing but breakdown of the immune system. It doesn't matter whether it's cancer, it doesn't matter whether it's diabetes, it doesn't matter whether it is autoimmune diseases. Every sickness is a breakdown of the immune system. We don't need to suppress immune system with drugs. We don't need to crank it up like food allergy or intolerance where the immune system is hyperreacting. We need to modulate the immune system. We need to keep it normal, not to crank it up or to bring it down in energy or allergy. We need to modulate or put the immune system on that normal alert, not super alert, which is hypersensitivity, or hypo, whereby the immune system will not even foster a courage or energy to protect itself. So anything that protects your immune system will keep you alive. This is where herbs are superior again to drugs. Herbs are what is called adaptogens or tonics. They modulate or regulate the immune system back to normal range. Something like ashwagandha or rhodiola or astragalus. These help you modulate stress because stress puts a lot of pressure on the immune system. Also, toxins put a lot of pressure on the immune system. Not only stress, again, but distress. So anything that pollutes the immune system will break down your health. It's like a house without a wall. And if there's no wall, any bug, any flu that flies around, the person will catch it because the immune system is not strong. Even spiritual immune system is very important. I'll give you an example. Job in the Bible did not suffer ill health with the boils in his body, except when his supernatural immune system was broken. He said that whosoever break the hedge of protection, the serpent will bite. Well, that was what happened to Job. When the Lord told Satan to go and tempt Job, but shouldn't kill him, was given limitation or restraint not to touch Job's body. In other words, don't kill him. But the discussion produced physical boil. But the discussion was in the spirit realm. How come Job developed physical, boils? It's because the supernatural immune system is broken down. So there may be innate immune system. There is non-specific immune system. There's humoral immune system. And of course, this one I introduced right now that is beyond the scope of natural medicine, or rather clinical medicine, which is supernatural immunity. So this is why we need prayer. This is why we need the Holy Ghost. This is why we need our supernatural, protection, so to speak. Enough of immune system. Let's go to motion, because we want to run real quickly here because we will visit them again and again once in a while. Motion, I call it movement. This is where we consider exercise. This is number 6 pillar of health. Why this is important is that the body was designed to move. We are designed to be dynamic. One of the characteristics of living thing is movement or locomotion. I call it motion. Anytime the body do not move, it will stagnate. The circulation will struggle, percolate, or stagnate. The elimination will not be nice. The digestion will suffer. Even the mind doesn't do well without moving the body. Because a healthy mind is to be found in a healthy body. And a healthy body is a vibrant body. It's a moving body. It's a dynamic body. It's a body that actually is ready to run, ready to go, ready, full of energy to do its work, to fulfill destiny, to perform activities. So Anybody who do not have time for exercise will sooner or later have time for disease. Because exercise improves everything. Movement improves your digestion, improves your immune system, improves your elimination, improves your mind, improves your well-being, improves your purpose and achievement. In fact, people who do not exercise don't know what they are missing. Because even weight loss is 80% eating right and 20% exercise, because it helps you burn calories so that you can be fit, trim, and slim. Very important. Even if you are skinny, you still need exercise for the other benefits I mentioned, because the benefits of exercise cannot be overemphasized. And real quickly, I preserve the last for the best. Your mind. I always say that the mind is the man. Where the mind goes, the man follows. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If I don't change your mind, I cannot change your life. If I can't fix your mind, I cannot fix your health. The mind is so important because the brain controls everything. The brain controls your digestion. It controls your ingestion and assimilation. It controls the elimination and excretion through the autonomic nerves while you are sleeping, and also while you are awake. The conscious or the central nervous system takes over. Even your immune system, the brain controls everything. So your mindset is very important in your health. I call this food for thought, because actually it's supposed to be number one. Because the way you think and eat is because of the way your mind operates, your thought process. If I don't empower you by changing your thinking, by giving you understanding, by showing you how and why, then I cannot change. All the pillars will fall apart if mind is not pivotal, if mind is not number one. Because people eat the way they think. When I go to the store, I always look around, and when I see what is in people's buggy, I could tell the state of their health. What are you putting in your shopping cart? Is because of the way your mind works as far as food and drink and wholeness and vibrant health is concerned. Unconsciously, people don't even think about that. Of course, there's different kinds of mindset. Every decision you make is an unconscious programming of your spirit. If you don't change the way you think, and it starts by empowerment, it starts by knowing about health. People tell me always that they eat balanced diet and that their children are picky, and I laugh. I say, you don't know what is balanced diet because you don't have understanding about nutrition. Even if your son or daughter is picky and you think it's a good thing, I said, it's a child. A child is picky. What does he know about nutrition? He's going to eat candies. He's going to eat sweets. He's going to eat sugars. And a lot of people have sweet tooth. They don't even know it's affecting them because of their mind. See, we are giving at least five tests. By that I mean bitter, pungent, or spicy. We have salty taste. We have sour, okay, and of course sugar. But why is it that people ignore every other type of taste except something that is salty or sugary? It's because of the way their mind works. If you change your mind, in fact, I have to reprogram my mind to start liking bitter things and start adjusting to drinking water. One of the greatest things I did for my health is actually to eliminate colored sugar water of all kinds. I just drink water. Why? Because I've changed my mind. Because I've renewed my mind. Because I've worked on my mind. Because, see, without the renewal of the mind, there's no transformation. This is also why we think about what is eating us. because I call it food for thought. You empower somebody, if you really, really change somebody's thinking process or faculties, you change the way they eat. They will start making decisions because the battle for your mind or for your health, rather, is the battle for your mind. Actually, virtually everything else. Because thinking is living. And you cannot live without eating. So mind controls every other thing. The brain controls everything. That's why the head controls the rest. So this is good. And let's go back to the 7 pillars. In summary, to put it all together. Ingestion, very, very important, which is your intakes consisting of food and drinks. Your digestion, which is a biggie, and the heartbeat of every medication, or rather recovery from sickness or disease, is your habit. I think it's also important in medication, because if you don't digest anything, it's useless. You just throw it away. And assimilation, elimination or excretion is the number 3. Number 4 is circulation, which includes your bloodstream and your lymphatics. We'll come back to it again, is a biggie. Your immune system or your protection is very, very important, because every sickness is breakdown of the immune system. And if you have powerful, vibrant immune system, you not suffer from any sickness or disease. Motion or movement is very important, because the body should move and is dynamic. And finally, your mindset controls everything. Thank you, viewers. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye. This is your host and presenter, Dr. Ozo. Give us a feedback. We want to know everything you think about this show, and we want to hear your correction and the things you want to see in the next episodes, or things you want us to talk about or to dwell on or to emphasize. Thank you. See you next. Bye-bye.